Okay, this time I'm gonna sketch with a ballpoint pen, one of my favorite tools, and I'm really gonna try to stick to this tube idea. I like to practice that way and abstract the figure, and it usually gives a, I don't know, somehow a pleasing result. Let's look for a figure. Okay, here we have a nice one. Let's see if we can save her. Boom. All right. So, nice arch of the back, shoulders leaning all the way back, and then a tilt towards the pelvis. We can see how the bra and the bikini bottom kind of around the waistband suggest already that kind of spaciousness. So I'm not looking for the body type, the heavy set body type. I'm not looking for the muscles, but just kind of a tube idea. Let's see if I'm well within, yeah. And how that tube is located and oriented in space. Kind of grows larger and then slowly but certainly it'll drop down. Where's the middle line? That's kind of there. I think a little bit more over to this side to eventually end up way over here. If you're asking yourself why I'm wearing a latex glove like this, it's because I'm experimenting with how that maybe holds or refrains the sweat and grease of my fingers to get on the paper and curl up and muddy the paper. I don't know if it works, we'll see. So here we have a torso. Let's, for example, look at the arms. So one arm is starting over here. I always like to reserve a little bit of room for where the shoulder muscle would be, and then it swoops over. I'll make that stretch even more expressive. There's very little foreshortening in it, so arm, where would it usually end up? Somewhere like this. Maybe a little bit foreshortened. And as it's so stretched, I can really start with a single kind of tube. Maybe already give myself an idea of where the elbow separation between upper and lower arm would be. What is the other arm doing? It's off to the side here, and clearly not one single straight line. Let's maybe look for the kind of the sternum here and see where the hand would just about be located. Just a simple placeholder for the hand is enough. What I'm concerned with is finding the location of the wrist and then seeing how that goes to the location of the elbow. And there's a little bit of foreshortening in this wrist. So you get kind of this tube idea. The other arm or a lower arm is pretty much unforeshortened. So it's pretty much in the same plane as the actual paper. Great. On to the head. The head I'll treat as a tube or a variation thereof as well. I'm trying to just find a simple cylindrical idea. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just some idea of how, if the head would be some sort of cylinder or bucket idea, it would look. And I can cut it in half down the side. I can cut it in half along the height, and I kind of get this back head jaw automatically for free. Just a little attachment for the neck, also a tube, and just having fun with it. I think this neck should come a little bit more to the back of the head, but we'll get there in a later stage. And of course, with ballpoint pen you don't have the opportunity or the possibility of erasing, but that's okay. You can just stick to the lines you have. It doesn't have to be perfect. Any mistakes that you make are recorded, and that's also very valuable. Let's find a quick kind of placeholder idea. Let's keep all the sketches together for the other hand, and now move on to the legs. One leg coming over here, and once again I often like to first establish my idea of where the body part would end, to then connect it. It's maybe a bit higher up. Yeah, that's better. And I'll show some elliptical cross-sectional ideas. Now for the lower leg, we come down like this. We're definitely looking down at this part of the body, so for that reason alone we expect these cylindrical cross-sections or elliptical cross-sections to show. This kind of curve, I can maybe still amend a little bit of the middle line. And now the second leg. Pretty foreshortened actually, so maybe here's the knee, and maybe over here we would find the ankle. Yeah, that looks like it makes the leg appear quite short. And of course, if we now add a kind of taper, and that might help. And I really like this kind of extra cross sections all the way through the tube, showing how they progressively get wider and wider. Simple placeholder for a foot. Some shape like this, showing the curve of the top of the foot, curve of the toes. That's already enough. On the other one we'll see a little bit more of a kind of side profile of the foot. And that's already enough. And maybe I should do a video on more in-depth treatment of feet and hands and things like that. Okay, so here we have our tube figure with the necessary volumetric indications. Just good, clean fun. Let me show a little bit of a, maybe higher up, a little bit of a hinging mechanism for the knees, maybe also for the elbow. You can kind of indicate how, if it were a hinge, it would show. It actually is a hinge, of course. Alright. I'm giving just a hint of this little bench, quite strongly foreshortened as well. So careful with the perspective, the linear perspective. And okay, the rest of the bench is not that important, but it does show something like this. Indeed, I should have made the leg probably even shorter, but that's okay for now. There we are. Let's do another one. Oh, this is a cool one. Oh yeah, very strong foreshortening. So our hips are more close to us. The shoulders are further away. The legs are coming even more forward. There's this twist. So there's this kind of torsion in the between the upper and lower body. I'll start with that again. Just the torso, how it's coming forward and how it's twisting. And maybe just to show you how you can be quite systematic in that. Because I can start, for example, with the angle that I see in the hips. Now, I'm not looking for 100% precision or accuracy, but I could literally measure this angle, align my pen to it, and so on and so forth. Now, let's find how this center line is angled and recedes away in space, and we can immediately twist this or turn this into kind of a flattened cylinder again. And then it bends away and we see a very different angle between the shoulders, and we're going to make the entire cylinder get smaller as it moves away in space from us, and we'll find how we now have the center line located, related to the sides of this cylinder. So that would be something like this, and I'll make the foreshortening quite strong. It's probably too high up with our shoulders. Let's push it down a bit. I'll really exaggerate the strong foreshortening of this, let's say, cylinder in space. So I'm looking for a cylinder that basically is doing the same thing in space as our torso is. Then I can worry about making it look like a torso later. And probably I'll have to do far less than I might suspect or expect in the beginning. Let's find an ellipse to indicate how the cylinder that represents her foreleg or her upper leg is going to be oriented. I'm gonna make it fairly large, as I want to show that it's the whole figure is foreshortened in space, and the lower leg is doing something like this. The other leg is, well, not coming straight at us, but is foreshortened quite strongly. Until we find the knee here, and then pretty unforeshortened actually, to end up close to where the foot would be. Yeah, that's seems to align quite nicely with what I see in the reference. Now, if it wasn't aligning, I don't know whether I would be bothered by that. If I would be bothered by that, I'd have to revise my proportions, etc. But in this case, it's turning out quite okay. The head is a bucket. It's somewhere over here. Thinking about the center line and showing once again the eye line wrapping downward towards the ears. We'd get something like this, and this arm is basically extended. Now there's quite some room here for the shoulder joint, and it's pretty much I would say in the same plane as the paper, so the arm is pretty unforeshortened. Simple placeholder here for the hand. Maybe a little bit of an indication of what the fingers are doing, but definitely not on top of our list of priorities. And the other hand, hardly visible. Maybe I'll change it. Maybe I'll say it's shooting out like this. Maybe behind. We'll make it shoot out like this to the side. Think about more to the top. Yeah, that looks okay. So kind of finding once again the space for the elbow in between, and now I want to show that this leg is pushed back even, or arm is pushed back even more, so and this hand is going to be the furthest away in space. This is getting very small. And I'm comparing this length to this length, the literal length that I have on the page, that is. So it should be way shorter than the forearm, even shorter. And then we can show a little kind of paper plane idea for the palm and the fingers stretching up, thumb sticking out to the side. Just a very gestural approach, obviously. Now coming forward, I want to show an increase of the size for the leg and the knee, as it's closer to us in space. We have a nice foot. It's a nice pose. I see basically the ball or the top of the foot like this, and then wrapping to the ball of the foot, attaching to the heel, and The big toe is pretty much head on over here, and the other toes are clumped together and wrapping away toward the back like that. So it's not entirely in the spirit of the tube figure, but because it's so fun, I wanted to try and sketch that a little bit more fleshed out. That's of course okay, it's your sketch, so if you see an opportunity to practice or investigate something, you are perfectly allowed to investigate that. I'm going to make sure the other foot is less detailed, smaller as well, as there's quite some distance between the foot in front and the other one. Let's get rid of this one. So I think this one is pretty much done as well. Maybe just some more cross sections. I sometimes like to really overdo it with all these cross contour or cross section lines. I've heard them be called wrapping lines as well. It's whatever you want to call it. It's lines that go across the surface and communicate it, and therefore, of course, establish a sense of how an object is oriented in space. Elaborating this one a bit more, just because I'm kind of happy with the lines or with the work. Yeah, there would be a little indication of mass for the breasts, but all that can of course be added. And I've had times where I use such a sketch as kind of an underlay to use, well, kind of an underlay, exactly as an underlay. I overlay a new paper and I use this kind of grid person to overlay the body type or the character design in a new sketch. So you can get fairly rough and bold with the pen strokes. That's okay. I think I'm gonna, looking at this whole sketch, revise ever so slightly the shape of the lower leg, making it connect to the torso tube. There we go. And I could sit all day and do this stuff. Maybe I'll do one more. Maybe see if we can find some where we can have some exaggeration. Nope. Let's see if I find a good one. Okay, I found a nice one where he's kind of Marilyn Monroe-esque, bending forward, stretched legs. So we see quite some foreshortening in the torso. As a tube, it would be bent and foreshortened. Let's see if we can capture that. Maybe we'll have room for the legs. Maybe we won't. Where shall I begin? Maybe there's some room over here. A line from shoulder to shoulder, pretty much horizontal, and I'll begin with making a kind of an elliptical opening. That would be the top of the entire tube that represents the torso. Maybe this middle line helps me to indicate and investigate how the back or the tube is arched, and I can transparently draw the bottom of the tube. Now all that's left to do is, of course, connecting it and getting that effect that this tube is receding in space quite a bit. I'm not seeing a lot of the pelvis. I am seeing much more of the rib cage, and this leg is pretty much straight down, and the other one is at a slight angle, mainly for balance purposes. And we'll see the hand resting on the hips here. It's going to be somewhere over here. Maybe I want to widen the hips at some point, but for now I'll stick to this location and find the palm of the hand and the fingers, the rhythm of the fingers sticking out. And we'll see here strongly foreshortened forearm coming from the shoulder, and a not so foreshortened but slightly foreshortened probably or lower arm. Strongly foreshortened upper arm, not so foreshortened lower arm. We'll see the hand on the other side sticking out from behind the torso, pretty much aligned horizontally, a little bit lower. So yeah, this looks okay. And here we'll also see a very strongly foreshortened upper arm, and then an angle to make with the lower arm. The neck and the head. The head is going to be here. It's maybe a bit silly to capture it as being a cylinder in this particular case, but I'm still going to stick to it. And what would this cylinder look like in this case? Well, the whole shape would pretty much be flat. There's a little tilt backward and sideways, so pretty quickly I'd get this kind of idea and show that the center line is not in the center, so the face is rotated, pointing toward the left, her right, and maybe I can find kind of a cylindrical idea for the neck. And yeah, we'll have some ear over here. So same approach, and if I want to, I can of course amend the earlier proportions. If that means I should scooch up the hand, I can also still opt to do that. It's maybe not necessary for this exercise. I'm looking, by the way, at how this line, which is the underwear, is attached to the thumb. The thumb is hooking behind it, the rest of the palm coming in front of it. You see a little V shape where we enter the crotch, and maybe it's nice to find a little bit of the kneecap and show how slowly but certainly we'll see more and more foreshortening in this cylinder as we go downward. I also like how this kind of initial line of the cylinder can be broken in two by maybe showing at some angle. The upper leg, and then we kind of get this kink for the lower leg. Very, I would say, characteristic of the leg, this outside bulge, inside pretty much straight with a little shift, and the knee would be over here. And let's once again, well, the foot is pretty much straightforward, so not much we have to do about that. I'll find a line for the toes, maybe still separate the large toe from his little brother's. Asymmetry in the ankle, always nice to capture, and we can look for where the other foot would be. Also here we see this same kind of off-kilter idea. Maybe a little bit more straight. Yeah, something like this. Well, it's not quite what I want, but it's okay. I really don't want to pretend that I never make a mistake or that everything succeeds at once, so I really would like you to see my mistakes as well and realize that, and that's where a lot of the value of sketching can be experienced or gained in those mistakes. It allows you to really consciously think about, okay, what did I do that didn't work, or what didn't I do that would work. More cross sections, the more the merrier. Clavicle. always hard, such an upshot showing a lot of the top of the torso. Usually I find that, at least for me, doing less is probably worth more. And let's see, what time is it? Okay, maybe I have time for one more, and I have room for one more. Well, I could make several more on this sheet, but let's stick to one. Let's see, what other cool poses can we find? Okay, this looks nice. Again, strongly foreshortened. A tube. Ooh, this one is difficult. I wonder where that is going to fit, but I'll make it work. Oops. Cancel. So, pretty extreme, the foreshortening and how close the hand is getting to the camera. And the feet are far away. Let's see what I can do. I still want to think in this tube-like fashion. So maybe I'll start here. I don't know whether the legs are going to fit on it, but I should try to make the hands fit on it, or at least this large hand. And I'm looking for kind of an indication of the torso as a tube. It's hunching over, and then we'll see the head as a tube or bucket. I'm thinking cylinders only, basically, and of course variations of cylinders. So a cylinder can be a bit stretched, flattened, squashed. Now I want to find the idea of the attachment of the shoulder compared to, for instance, the chin and the rest of the torso. And now I have to take care to find that right type of foreshortening. I can start maybe with finding the location of the elbow. It's somewhere along this line, but it's very close by. It's actually inside the torso. So if we have the line of the torso, and this is where the elbow would be, and I'm gonna make it large as the shoulder. And now I'll come over in different direction, and this length is longer because things are closer or appear larger as they are closer. And I'll find the wrist somewhere over here. It seems to pretty much align with his chin like this, so it will be very much enlarged. And I'll keep it light. I don't know whether this is going to all end up being the right size. I am trying to kind of find the alignment of the knuckles here. And so we have one knuckle, the second one, and we'll hardly see the third and fourth one. but I'm mainly looking at the size and comparing it to his head, maybe even exaggerating it. And then the finger as a tube being very large. And the meat is coming above his head, which is not true in the reference. I'll stick to it for now and see if that works better. If not, I'll have to amend it. And third and fourth finger aren't visible. A lot of overlap here, and when we get the mass of the mouse of the thumb, and here comes the thumb sticking out like this. Pretty dramatic. Maybe I overdid it, but I have to say I kinda like it. And I can really push for this overlap and foreshortening with all my lines and cross contours. So, giant hand. Let's have a look in the mirror. That's looking pretty extreme. I probably need to add a little bit more width and size to this lower arm. But the tube idea is the most important. And I'm seeing ever so slightly part of the upper arm, and then the shoulder. Okay. Pretty ridiculous, but pretty fun. More of an attachment between the thumb and the wrist here. Let's quickly, just for fun's sake, show a little bit of the legs and show how they are going away in space, like that. And this one, a pretty strong angle actually. Oops. Yeah. Drop my pen. Let's see. Yeah, the camera's still okay. A pretty strong angle. Yeah, even stronger. Coming up. So I'll adjust quickly the leg. The other leg I hardly see anything of. And this leg is very strongly foreshortened, and I'll push that even more than I see in the reference. See his foot here. I can indicate the entire sole of the foot and just attach it to the wrist or the shin bone and the ankle, and show a bit more of the tubing of the other leg. Now, with elements coming forward so strongly, it can help to also beef up the lines in those locations where the figure is close to the camera. So also in line weight you have quite some power and ability to communicate the sense of depth. And the sense of depth here is in this pose, pretty much always, but particularly in this pose, of course, quite relevant. So I'm just going through the lines. I don't mind doing the whole outline for now with a fairly beefy line weight, showing this overlap and getting less thick with my lines when I come forward or when I go backward. Even for the mouth, the nose, the eyebrows, I can find this cylindrical idea. And I'll call it quits for today. So, I hope you got something out of this. I mainly wanted to show that you don't need to draw the human figure to be able to depict and represent the human figure. You can think about simple elements, in this case cylinders and tubes and all variations on that, to capture what a body is doing, and with the right proportions, right foreshortening and the right combination of tubes and cylinders, you see that you can already communicate like 90%, well that's maybe a bit strong, 80% of the figure, and pretty much 100% of what the position and the action of the figure is, without any anatomical knowledge on where muscles are located, how they are attached, what they do, how they bulge up under strain. You can already capture some quite strong figure sketches, and that is basically the moral of today's story. So, hope you enjoyed, have fun sketching, see you next time.